AutoNet. So today I want to talk a little bit about an app that you may not have used before, and that is the SceneViewer, which is available via the ArcGIS Align platform. So very similar to the map viewer, where you can go ahead and you can create your web maps to use in your applications. You can do the same thing for scenes in the SceneViewer. So the first thing you're going to get when you load up the SceneViewer is going to be this window here. So we're going to have our 3D scene that we can work with, our pretty little stars and everything like that. So we got the whole globe here. I got the basic navigation tools here, so I can move around here. This is more of a rotation navigation tool. All right, so can I go upside down? Yeah, so like so. Adjust it around this way. Go back to regular navigation. I'm a little more comfortable here. So we have the search widget up in here. We've got the layers and the legend, which is empty right now. We haven't put anything in here yet. And we can switch out the base map. So let's say for our particular example, we want to make this dark gray canvas here. And I really don't know what I'm doing. So we're going to go ahead and figure this out as we go through it. We'll touch some of these here, daylight, the share and settings in a second. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and let's add layers. So when you go to add layers, there's going to be a list for the Esri featured content. Now this is the content that's currently available, while featured content that has scenes in them. So if you have your own scenes, which you could create in Pro and then upload those to your ArcGIS Align account, they'd be listed under your My Content, and you can add them that way. That's a whole separate video though. So for right now, let's focus on scenes that are currently available inside of the Esri featured content. So there's quite a few in here. Kind of a neat one that's a little different from, say, buildings. So let's go and look at the first one. Let's look at the new buildings in here. And you can see as we hover over them, they're going to go ahead and pop-ups on the globe here are going to give us a little more details here. And you can just click on import right here next to it. So now we're going to zoomed in here, and the scene itself is going to get loaded. Let me click on done real quick. All right, so let's click on scenario. Oh, it's still popping up here. There we go. So I got my little trees are loading. The buildings are starting to load up. Give it a second here for everything to come through. So it's a pretty big scene. That's one thing you're going to notice too. I mean, when you're working with the scenes, it's a lot of information you're bringing down the pipe to be able to display it. But once the information is actually available to you in your browser, it's pretty easy to go ahead and to work with the data. I mean, it's fast once it's actually in the browser. Okay, and you may notice things popping up in and out here. That's because the SceneViewer is set up to maximize visibility of stuff. So if I start to click on things, move my mouse around, automatically navigation tools come up, and this little bar down here pumps up. So I'll explain what this is in a second. First thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and let's take a look at our scene. So if I get my mouse to cooperate here. All right, so we have this nice little scene here, and we've got some trees built in. We got these 3D buildings all set up here. And what we have down here is basically, these are called slides. And these are essentially bookmarks for your scenes. And these bookmarks can also have predefined filters stored on them, basically saying that, you know, for scenario A, we're going to go ahead and have laid out what this plan looks like as our scenario A here, and we can click on scenario B, and this is a different plan that's going to come up. We have a proposed, I don't know what it says here, it's cut off a demo. We have a river walk view scene. So this is down here to give you a really close view of what it's like if you're walking by the river. Let's go rotate here and start rotating around this. And you can see we have some water over here. That's pretty cool. And we have another scene here. So essentially what these slides that you do is go ahead and create these bookmarks for you. I won't do full screen because it's going to mess up the recording sets here. But you could also take this full screen if you wanted to. So, okay, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. However, let's try something else here. Let me remove the scene. So you can do that just by clicking on a little area there. Same thing here. Let's remove that. Let's remove this. Remove non-project buildings. Okay, so remove the topographic map. Okay, so let's go ahead and change my base map again. Let's try light gray canvas. Go home, we'll take us back to the whole globe again, and let's go add more layer. Okay, so let's look at something that I'm a little more familiar with. Portland, Oregon scenes. Okay, so I kind of know Portland. Portland's cool. So let's come here. Right, so we're gonna start getting some new buildings popping up, and that's all pretty cool here. Okay, so we're done adding layers for right now. All right, so let's click up here, and again, we've got more slides getting added for us. Let's come here to what's this, lads circle. I in particularly do not know that location, but let's go with it. It's part of my scene here. We have some more slides available in here. OHSU. All right, so we come down over here, and we got some nice little hills popping up here, and we got school buildings. So okay, so I'm still wanting to change my base map just to kind of play around with some stuff here. Actually, no, that's right. Okay, so it was updated. Okay, so now what we can do is we can start playing with some things. So let's start playing with the daylight. All right. So we have all these options here where we can play with the daylight. So let's say we want to show the shadows. So now we've got these nice shadows popping up in our 3D scene here. Now you want just the time of day. All right, so you can make it early in the morning, not too early. So a little early in the morning as the sun's coming up, and then later in the day. You can adjust the date. So if we want to change this to, let's say August, no, let's go for the last day of August. That particular time of day, we're going to have more pronounced shadows. So you can see here that the way the shadows work and everything are very, give you a lot of power to be able to adjust the environment here, all the way down to the date, year, and time of day even. Does it do the year? I guess it doesn't do the year. It's just the date and the time. All right, so now we can play it. So we can start animating this over different months. All right, so you can see at 12:35 p.m. and August 1st, it's going to be completely different versus November 1st. So that's pretty pronounced there. We can play the time here now. So we go over, every, what are we doing here? Every 10 minutes, every 10 minutes or so. So now we're at nighttime. Let's actually adjust this to early morning and play it. So as the sun comes up, we're going to get the shadows of the sun rising, the sun moving across the sky during the day, and then the sun setting at night. So the 3D scenes really give you a nice visualization to be able to work with that stuff. Or again, you can just turn off the shadows if you're not interested in that. We have some basic settings here. This is basically just to update what the navigation is going to be like that you're going to interact with. So if you are used to working with ArcGIS Pro and working with scenes there, you can adjust the navigation to work that way, or just stick with the default. You can adjust performance, whether you want it to be faster or you want better quality. It's really up to you. This is really only if you're starting to see some weird issues in your particular machine. Then we have slides here. So all the slides for every scene that we brought in, it also added the slides for that scene. So you can see here we have these scenario A, B, and so on from the previous scenes that I brought in. I don't want these anymore, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove these particular ones. I could capture a new slide, so if I wanted to, let's actually zoom out a bit more here. So if I want to capture this town, say midday or so, there we go, kind of like that. Let's actually get a bit more. So I kind of like this view, and I want to kind of bookmark this and capture this slide. I can give it a name, and I'll call it my view. All right, awesome. So I'm done, and there's properties I can play with too. So I give it my scene a title. Just give it my awesome scene. Give it a summary that's completely optional, or give it a tag. I always just use test a lot because I'm screwing around with lots of stuff. Save it, and now I can save my scene. So the same way I save a web map, I can go ahead and save my scene. And again, I'm given the options here to do stuff. I can refresh the thumbnail if I were to change this around, and so I'm going to save it in my content, and I'll just click save. So I've gone in to save that now, and that's how you work with the scene viewer inside of ArcGIS Online. Okay, so now that I've saved my web scene, let me go ahead and share that. I actually have not shared that scene yet, so I'm going to share it out, share it to everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go to my awesome scene here, and it's going to take me to my item detail page. I'm going to go ahead and grab my item ID for my scene, and let's go to a sample. It's already in the documentation for the ArcGIS JavaScript API. So I'm going to update this portal item with my scene item. Let's run it. And it's going to go ahead and load in my web scene that I've saved, which is awesome, right? So there we go. So I can very easily take a scene that I've created inside my scene viewer, adjusted, added any layers I wanted to it. You could add in just any features to this as well. So if you have some feature layers inside of your content, add those in here, provide symbology for them. They'll work out pretty nice. And if you save it as a scene, you can just load it like as a web scene the same way that you would load a web map into your application. And that's how you can work with the scenes for your applications. Thank you.